See, here's the deal. Here's the deal. See, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna work like this. See, I mean, it confounds me. You have the Ivory Coast, for example, right now. These short-sighted African pawns are ready to kick out Gbagbo out of his country. He was elected there. They're ready to kick him out so that they can hand over the oil power to France and give them free reign over the gas deposits. Gbagbo keeps tight records of what goes in and out of the Ivory Coast. The oil and gas companies are nationalized and successful, but what's more important is that they have working refineries, unlike Nigeria. And they're planning to run lines from Niger to Ivory Coast. France's puppet, Ottawa, will be more than happy to cede the reins over to France. France and the White Haitians did the same thing in Haiti. They overthrew Aristide to stop him from getting reparations from France for the blackmail under Napoleon. Preval got in there and he reversed everything. Then let corporations come in and exploit the people with sweatshops and undermine local farmers by buying more food than they ever had before, which led to a food crisis where people were eating mud cakes in some places. And they're doing the same thing right now with the earthquake. America is selling them rice right now, tons of rice. They're selling it cheaper than local farmers. They don't want competition, like I said before. White people play nice. Hey, buddy, black power, you're awesome. Until you become an economic threat. And Ivory Coast is competition and a threat, in that it has a leader with foresight who knows what his resources are worth and open them up to places like the United States, Russia, China. But they can also refine and redistribute to other African nations who need oil and undercut those who usually refine a country's oil and give it back to them, like England does Nigeria and France does Gabon. France does not play middleman in Ivory Coast dealings with its oil, but Ottawa will change that. It's like I said, when you're an economic threat, whites will attack, which is why you need to be armed and supported by others. But the U.S. still side with France because they know they'll get a better deal. And I know they're going to try something with Ghana because France has a base right on the border with Ghana, and they've been disputing the offshore wells for a while. See, here's the deal, and I see it happening right now. Here's what's gonna probably happen with Gbagbo. They're gonna claim he killed thousands of people and that there's mass graves, and then and if there are, it's more likely done by ECOWAS fighters. Since they did the same thing in the Congo. They're gonna say he's a monster dictator. Then they're gonna strike and kick him out of office. And I'm as sure as a Japanese woman's pussy is tight, I don't know, bring in the French companies, take over the oil, deprivatize it, and then denationalize it. And they're gonna take over the oil, the cocoa, the gas deposits, and then the government's gonna go to shit. They're gonna bring in foreign investment, say that he's the greatest ever, and then they're gonna show how the country's destabilized and what happened. Because France is a leech state, and it always has been. Those leaders advising the military, insisting that they take him out, they're a disgrace. And they know they're a disgrace. They're short-sighted and too stupid to realize it can happen to any of them, should they ever try to work to benefit their own people. Because if you benefit your own people, they'll benefit the country. If you treat everybody like trash, your country will turn into trash. And I see the same thing happening in Sudan right now. Don't be fooled by the Southern Sudan situation. America's planned this for a while. They want the South to separate so that they can help develop the oil wealth. They'll have control over it so that China can't get a sweetheart deal from Sudan anymore. Sudan knew this was coming, though, since back in the 90s when Clinton bombed them. So they being Khartoum, took advantage of the nomads and the farmers' dispute and defer and started to explore for oil there. And they found it. They just had to get the farmers off the land, which is why the rebels were killing them. And soon they'll develop that to benefit their own country, since the South will get most of the oil and be backed by the United States. And that way, with them backed by the United States, America has another place to where they can get tons of oil, so their reserves are saved. Kind of like where they have Iraq now. They don't really have Angola as much as they had them before, but they still have Niger. They still have Mexico. They still have a couple other countries I can't even think of right now. So I mean, it's all a plan. It's all a plan. But the stagnation and the short-sightedness of blacks keeps them from ever capitalizing on this position that they've been placed in. I mean, if you look at the overall situation, Africa should have been highly developed by now. Places when the oil was like $5 a gallon in some places, they should have jumped right on that because the barrels were so high, value was up, and they didn't capitalize on that at all. It's just one of many ways in which that shows that blacks are in a state of just stagnation. It's a complete black stasis. I mean, it's insane.